Thanks for tuning in to Grow by Joe. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to get a large business loan. You know, a large business loan, that can have a different meaning for different business owners depending on the size. So what may be a large business loan to you might not be to someone else. So I broke this down into different categories, and depending on the size of your business or as it grows, you'll know exactly what you need and what you need to do. I'll not only explain how to get a large business loan, but I'll also explain to you how to get it in the most simple, efficient, and fastest way. I broke this down into 4 different groups based on loan sizes. For each group, I'll explain exactly what's needed. And this is also exactly, in each one of these groups, exactly how lenders will look at it as well too. Here's a basic rule of thumb of the amount that lenders will lend to you. So lenders will typically lend 10 to 15% of your gross annual sales. So if you're doing $1 million a year in sales, you'll roughly get approved for anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 based upon a few other things about your business. Again, this is just a general rule of thumb. That number can adjust up or down depending on a few other things about your business. So in this group, you'll need to be doing $1 million to $2 million in gross annual sales. Depending on those gross annual sales will make up the $100,000 to $250,000. Lenders are going to be very focused on cash flow. So what does that mean? They're going to want to see consistency of money being deposited into your business bank account and want to see that you're keeping money in your business bank account on a constant basis. They're also going to want to see that you've been in business for at least 1 to 2 years. 1 year is fine, but the more time in business, always the better. Personal credit can get very flexible, especially if you have good cash flow, so don't worry about personal credit. So in this group, I've been able to simplify this process and get business owners approved with only needing a 1-page digital application filled out and looking at the last 3 to 6 months of your business bank statements. Now through technology, we can even connect right to your bank and get those statements sent right over to us. So you don't even have to worry about sending in paperwork. So the only thing that'll be required to get approved for $100,000 to $250,000 will be a simple 1-page application and about 3 to 6 months of your business bank statements. I'll have a link at the end of this video where you can go to do all that, so stay tuned. Okay, so in group number 2, $250,000 to $500,000. So in this range, the number of lenders that will lend to you above $250,000 without any type of real estate collateral does become limited, but it's still available. So again, you'll need 1 to 2 years time in business. Your credit score doesn't have to be perfect, but there can't be any major recent challenges. You're definitely going to have to provide the last 6 months of business bank statements, and you usually have to provide last year's and year-to-date financial statements, so a profit, loss, and balance sheet. Don't worry if you're not extremely profitable, that's okay, but they're just going to want to understand what's going on with your financials in the business. In the $250,000 to $500,000 range, the underwriter also may want to do a phone call with you to understand exactly what you're looking to use the financing for and get a better understanding of your business. That's a positive thing. And just remember, when you're doing one of these phone calls, you're probably going to be on the phone with someone who's a decision maker, so bring your best self on one of those calls. Okay, so group number 3 is $500,000 to $1 million. In this group, the amount of lenders that will finance you without any type of real estate collateral really goes down dramatically. And there's only less than a handful of lenders that will actually fund you in this range. There's a lot of lenders out there that say they may fund you, but the ones that actually get the money into your bank account, that's a whole nother story. So again, as I mentioned earlier, the rule of thumb is that lenders will usually give you 10 to 15% of your gross annual sales. So in this range of $500,000 to $1 million, you're going to need to be doing at least $5 million to somewhere around $10 to $12 million a year in gross annual sales. Obviously, if you're doing $5 million, that would be around $500,000. If you're doing $10 million, that would get you up to somewhere in that $1 million range. So again, as I mentioned earlier, as a good rule of thumb, lenders will typically give you 10 to 15% of your gross annual sales. So if you're going to want to get qualified for $500,000 to $1 million, you're going to need to be doing somewhere in the $5 million to $10 million range. As I mentioned earlier, a good rule of thumb is lenders will typically lend to you 10 to 15% of your gross annual sales. So in this range of $500,000 to $1 million, you're going to need to be doing somewhere around $5 million to about $10 million a year in gross annual sales. You also need to provide anywhere from 6 to 12 months of business bank statements, and you're definitely going to need to provide your financials last year and a year-to-date profit, loss, and balance sheet. So just make sure that you have those in order and you're ready and prepared. Besides the 6 to 12 months of business bank statements and your financials, an underwriter will absolutely be doing a phone call with you to get a better understanding of what you're looking to use the funds for and a better understanding of some questions they may have about your business. Again, this phone call is a great thing. This is a good call, but remember to bring your best self in this phone call because again, you're dealing with the decision maker. It's also important to understand that most business lenders do understand that businesses go through challenges. Also understand if you've had any challenges in your business, don't worry. Most business lenders understand that business owners and businesses have challenges. If there's been any challenges, don't be afraid to talk about that in an underwriting call. But it's important to explain, hey, what happened? This is how we fixed it. And this is the great place that we're going to with our business. That's super important and super key. $1 million plus. In this category, typically most lenders will want either real estate collateral, account receivables, or to actually take equity in your business. But the good news is we've been able to make this happen without needing any of those things. In this category, you're going to need everything that I mentioned before, but most likely you're going to need the last 2 years of your financial statements. They don't need to be audited. A QuickBooks printout is okay. And also a year-to-date financial statement, profit, loss, and balance sheet. To get this amount of money, you're absolutely going to want to have good cash flow, and you're definitely going to need to do a call or two with underwriting so they can get a better understanding of your business. They're probably going to ask some detailed questions from your financial statements, and they're really going to want to understand the opportunity at hand and what you're looking to use the financing for. So absolutely be prepared and expect one of those phone calls. If they're doing one of those calls, that's a great thing, because if they weren't interested in financing you, they wouldn't even get on the phone. So on these calls, remember the people that you're speaking to are probably decision makers. Make sure to bring your best self in these calls and make sure to do a great job of explaining your business, explain everything that you've got going on, what you're using the financing for, and how this financing is going to help you grow your business. So my friend, whether you need $100,000 or $1 million plus, me and my team can absolutely help you. We've created a platform that has over 75 lenders on it, and we've been able to help business owners all across the country obtain $1 billion in financing and done tens of thousands of transactions for all different business owners all across the country. So if you're interested in learning more, check out this link below, and I'd love to help you get financing to grow your business. Thanks for tuning in to Grow by Joe. My mission is to help you grow your business. Definitely check out that link below. Please subscribe to my channel, and please leave any comments below. I look forward to helping you grow your business. Nothing but success.